गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तदेवं. Now today is Friday. We are discussing Sugama. Okay. First I'll tell you, I speak as long as I can, as long as I am comfortable. When I feel unable to, impossible to continue, I'll stop it. Just any time I'll stop it. Okay, so we'll just continue. So in Sugama, we were discussing about adhyasa forms, many forms of adhyasa. So sakshaham pratyaya, pratyayinor anyonya adhyasa. Sakshi and aham pratyaya. Between them, there is an anyonya adhyasa. Sakshi aham pratyayino anyonya adhyasah. Tadevam atmani anatma dharma adhyasa prakaran pradarsha. Having shown how deha, indriya and the mind and their qualities are imposed upon the Atma, idanim sakala dharma adhyasa moolam. Now he is going to show the basic adhyasa, which is the root cause of all other adhyasas. Sarva adhyasa moolam, which is a root cause of all other adhyasas. Okay. What is that? Adhyasa moolam aham dharmi adhyasam upasthapayati. Aham pratyaya adhyasa aham pratyayi. Aham pratyayi means what is that? Antakarana only. What else is that? So aham pratyayi, that is the antakarana along with aham pratyaya. Antakarana along with aham pratyaya. Adhyasa of aham pratyayi upon the Atma. This is the Moola adhyasa. See, when Atma is taken as aham pratyaya is taken as a sakshi. So this is the Moola adhyasa for the remaining adhyasas. So iti evam aham pratyayinam ashesha saprachara sakshini pratyagatmanyadhyasya iti. Ahamiti pratyayo yatra soyam aham pratyayi aham pratyayashrayo jnata. Aham pratyayi Bhashakara uses. See, aham pratyayi means pramata only and nothing else. Jnatru means the knower. The knower, one who is identified with the sense organs and mind and knows. That knowing pratyaya. Aham pratyayi means knowing pratyaya. Aham pratyayashrayo jnata. See, aham pratyayi, this is a very peculiar word Bhashakara uses. Aham pratyayi means one who has aham pratyaya. It is the jnatrutvam, it is the jnatru who has the notion of I. The jnatru has a notion of I. Therefore, aham pratyaya ashrayo jnata. Jnata is aham pratyaya. So that means the jnatrutvam is superimposed upon the Atma. Soyam karta bhokta cha vyavahare. So that jnata himself is called karta bhokta while doing Vyavahara. Otherwise, he is called simply Jnatru, Jnatra, Jnata. He is simply a Jnata. While in Vyavahara, the same Jnata is called Karta and Bhokta. When he is using the relating to the Karmendriyas, he is called Karta. When he is relating to experience, undergoing the experiences, he is called Bhokta. Otherwise, he is simply Jnata. Okay. So, Jnata himself is called Karta and Bhokta, and that Jnata is called here Aham Pratyayi. Okay. In other words, just a subject. Okay, I am Abhisandhi. This point is little more explained here. Now, Santu Kama Kamam Anatma Dharmaha Kamadayah. Tesham Drishyatve Sati Drashtu Dharmatva Anupapatte Ahan Rupasyatu Pratyagatma Sambanditayaiva Prasiddhe Nayuktam Anatma Dharmatvam Ityashanketa. Now the Purva Pakshi raises an objection. Other qualities, like the qualities of the body, see, qualities of the body, qualities of sense organs, qualities of qualities means properties, properties of the body, properties of sense organs, properties of mind. These are known to the Jnata. Because see, body and its qualities are known to the consciousness. Sense organs are also known and their properties. Mind and its properties are known. Therefore, it is easy to understand them as Anatma. It is easy to understand the Deha Dharma, Indriya Dharma, Mano Dharma as Anatma. But here, Purvapakshi is raising good question. That Jnatrutvam, the subject in English, the Jnatrutvam or the subject who knows everything else. How can you say the very Jnatrutvam is Adhyastha upon the Sakshi? This is a beautiful point. This is a very subtle point and very important point. Subtle as well as most important. People think Jnatrutvam alone is Atma. In fact, all people have done this mistake. All means except Advaitins. Sankhyas, when they say Sakshi, in fact, they have come up to Jnatrutvam only. Because you separate Sankhya and Yogis, they separate Anatma, and you know that Anatma and I am the knower of the Atma. Knower of the Atma, knower of the Anatma, knower of the Anatma is separate from the Anatma. Therefore, I have understood. Atma is understood, they say. When you say you are knowing something, some Prakriti, when you know the Prakriti, you are a knower of a Prakriti is still related to Prakriti. See here. You are a knower, no doubt, but the knower is a relative knower. Jnatrutvam is a relative knower. But Purvapakshi says, Jnatrutvam, Jnata knows Anatma, he is different from Anatma. Therefore, Jnata himself is Atma. How can you say Jnatrutvam is Adhyastham upon the Sakshi? Jnatrutvam being Adhyastha is difficult to understand because it's a very subtle. So, Santu Kamam Anatma Dharmaha Kamadayah. See, Anatma Dharmas like the desire and Raga, Dvesha, hatred, fear, etc. The qualities in the mind can be easily understood as Anatmas. Okay. Kamam Anatma Dharmaha Kamadayah. Tesham Drishyatve Sati Drashtu Dharmatva Anupapatte. Because the simple reason is the properties of mind properties of sense organs, etc., can be understood as anatma because we can see them clearly. Because no state of mind, no condition of mind, state of mind is a self-knower. It is known. But the jnatrutvam aham rupasya tu pratyagatma sambanditayaiva prasiddhe. See, aham rupa. Aham rupa means subjectiveness. Subjectiveness is related to Atma. How can you say subjectness is also anatma? See, drishyatve sati drashtu dharmatva anubhava. Aham rupasya tu pratyagatma sambambitaya. This aham, this knowership is Atma only. Purvapakshi is telling. Knowership is consciousness. It knows everything else. Therefore, sambanditaiva prasiddhe nayuktam anatma dharmatvam. Therefore, calling it is anatma is not right. Aham, see, aham, that is a subjecthood, or jnatrutvam, the knowership, cannot be anatma, because knower is the one, he knows everything else. Knower is the one, he knows everything else, including the properties of sense organs, properties of the body, properties of mind. Then jnatrutvam is the one who knows everything. Therefore, yuktam anatmadharatvam ityashanketa. How can you say the very jnatrutvam is anatma? See? To this, Siddhanti tam ashankam parihartum idamuchyate. Siddhanti replies, no. Aham rupamapi antakarana dharma eva natma dharmaha. This is the beautiful thing. This jnatrutvam is also aham rupa jnatrutvam. Aham rupamapi anatma dharma eva natma dharmaha. Even that is anatma dharma only. Why? Because Sakshi is not aham pratyaya. Sakshi doesn't have the aham rupata or jnatrutvam. Sakshi doesn't have aham rupata. Aham rupata means the jnatrutvam. Sakshi doesn't have jnata because jnata is related to gneyam. But Sakshi is unrelated Swayam Prakasha. Therefore, aham rupamapi antakarana dharma eva atma dharma iti antakaranam hi chit sannidhyavashat chidiv avabhasamanam aham pratyayashrayo bhavati. Antakarana. Antakarana or the aham rupa chit sannidhyavashat. Since it is close to the consciousness, it is like the medium, what you call, the glass, mirror. The mirror is being very transparent. It reflects any object. Similarly, antakarana being very shuddha, antakarana, though it is a prakriti only, antakarana is a part of prakriti, product of prakriti, but it contains sattvika guna. And it is a very pure form. Since it is a pure and pure in the sense transparent. Sattvika guna is pure, means transparent. It being transparent, it reflects the Atma as it is. Then we think that antakarana itself is Atma. See, when the mirror is so transparent that anything put in front of it, the mirror itself looks like that object. Because of the transparency. Purity is transparency. Therefore, antakaranam hi chit sannidhyavashat chidiva avabhasamanam. Antakaranam being pure, chit sannidhyavashat, because it is close to antakarana. Close in the sense very much similar. Close to Atma means very similar to Atma. Aham pratyaya ashrayo bhavati. Therefore, in the Antakarana, that Atma Chaitanyam appears as a Jnatrutvam. Etadeva cha aham pratyayalambanam bhavati vyavahare dehaderapi etadavivekat. Therefore, this Shuddha Antakarana forms the basis of I thought. Aham vritti, I notion. Okay. तो व्यवहारे अहम प्रत्यय आलंबनम भवति व्यवहारे देहय देहादिरपि एतद अविवेक देहादिरपि देहादि also यांस्तु विशेषः देहादिरिदं बुद्धि विषयोपि. Deha and others, though we identify with them, though we identify with the body sense organs, still we can understand them as idam. But aham pratyaya is such a thing. It is always on the subjective side. It is never on the object. We can objectify body and sense organs. Objectify means we can know them through consciousness. But aham pratyaya is such, nobody can see it as an idam pratyaya. As an object of idam pratyaya, we can't say it is always aham pratyaya only. Aham pratyayet chidabhasayuto ahankaro bhashya vishaya apekshaya pratyaktvat kutrajitapi vyavahare idan rupena apratibhasamanatvacha natmanas sakashat suvivechanaha. Aham pratyaya aham pratyaye, that is antakarana. Aham pratyaya, see in antakarana there is two. One is idam pratyaya and another aham pratyaya. When we say aham pratyaya is antakarana, it's not a complete antakarana. Antakarana has got idam pratyaya and aham pratyaya. We are talking of aham pratyayi means only one aspect, that is aham pratyaya alone. So aham pratyayi tu chidabhasayuto ahankaraha. Aham pratyayi means there is a chidabhasa and aham buddhi. Aham vritti is there and chidabhasa. What is chidabhasa? The chaitanyam that is seen through antakarana, reflecting the reflected consciousness. Chidabhasa is the reflected consciousness. And aham pratyaya, that is called aham pratyaya. That means antakarana vritti. Antakarana has two vrittis. One is idam vritti, another is aham vritti. So that aham vritti, along with the consciousness, not the pure consciousness sakshi, the consciousness that is reflected in the antakarana. Okay, so chidabhasayuto ahankaraha. That aham pratyaya, antakarana's one part, and chidabhasa, that is the consciousness reflected in antakarana. Bhashya vishaya apekshaya pratyaktvat. This one, the consciousness which is reflected in the antakarana, along with the aham pratyaya, is innermost to anything else. Because this is the aham pratyaya along with the chidabhasa. This alone knows everything else. It is the most inmost within us. Therefore, chidabhasayuto ahankaro bhashya vishayapekshaya pratyaktvat kutrachidapi vyavahare idan rupena apratibhasamanatvacha. So, wherever we try to think and do vichara, it is the aham pratyaya combined with chidabhasa that knows everything else. It is that jnatrutvam knows everything else. But jnata itself is not available for objectification. He can never be seen as idam pratyaya. Isn't it? Idan rupena apratibhasatmacha natmanas sakashat suvivechanaha. This is the problem. Now, what can be seen as idam pratyaya vishaya, that can be easily understood as anatma. See, what can be seen as idam pratyaya vishaya, that can be easily understood as anatma. But aham pratyaya is difficult because aham pratyaya knows all other idam pratyayas. But aham pratyaya is sitting in the place of sakshi. It is sitting in the place of sakshi because of the help of the chidabhasa. Why do you bring chidabhasa? Chidabhasa, we have not explained much. We say chidabhasa, same chaitanyam. Through the same chaitanyam, as long as you have aham pratyaya, we call chidabhasa. When the aham pratyaya is not there, chidabhasa is also not there. There is only chit swarupa. Chidabhasa is chaitanyam looked through antakarana. That means still antakarana is retained. Antakarana is not removed. That's all it means. Antakarana is not yet retained. That is called chidabhasa. Okay. Or, in other words, the wakeful consciousness is chidabhasa. Sushupti is shuddha chaitanyam. Okay. Sushupti is shuddha chaitanyam. The waking chaitanyam is chidabhasa. What else is? Because the whole wakeful consciousness, there is aham pratyaya. Where the aham pratyayam is dropped, the same wakeful consciousness becomes as a sushupti. See, what is the difference between sushupti consciousness and the wakeful jagrat consciousness? Both are consciousness, but wakeful consciousness is called chidabhasa because still it is associated with the waking mind. Aham pratyaya. It is associated with the waking, because the waking mind, because when are you awake? In the wakeful state, there is an aham pratyaya, that is a jnatrutvam. There is a jnatrutvam knows the gneya prapancha. Gneya prapancha, deha, indriyas, etc. The jnatrutvam knows the gneya prapancha within the consciousness. Therefore, the wakeful consciousness is chidabhasa with avastha consciousness. Okay. There is avastha pratyaya is there. There is a jnatrutvam. When that antakarana is removed, the same chaitanyam becomes a shuddha chaitanyam called sushupti. That's all. When aham pratyaya is removed, the same thing becomes a sakshi. Then the same sakshi chaitanyam seen through antakarana vritti, you call in between there is a chidabhasa, a tentative state. Chidabhasa is the chaitanyam looked through antakarana, still retaining antakarana. Okay, therefore, why do we call chidabhasa? Because direct sakshi doesn't enjoy the aham pratyaya. Sakshi doesn't have pratyagatma or sakshi, whatever you call. The pratyagatma or sakshi doesn't have aham pratyaya, like in sushupti. Or one who is, either you take sushupti or one who is aware of all the three states. So the direct sakshi doesn't have aham pratyaya. Sakshi doesn't have aham pratyaya. And when you have aham pratyaya, where does the aham pratyaya stay? Aham pratyaya is an antakarana along with what chaitanyam? Chidabhasa. Because the chit is still at the bottom and the chit doesn't have the pratyaya. Chit is pratyaya rahita. The shuddha chaitanyam is free from pratyaya. Therefore, when there is a pratyaya, the consciousness which you experience is chidabhasa. Okay. When aham pratyaya is removed, then there is no chidabhasa and chit, both become one. Chidabhasa and chit are not separate. They look separate. Chidabhasa only as long as aham pratyaya. When aham pratyaya is removed, then there is no chidabhasa. Chidabhasa becomes one with chit only. Okay. So, there that aham pratyaya along with Chidabhasa looks very Chaitanyam alone. It becomes very close, very intimate. This distinction becomes difficult. Ataha eva atmaham pratyayalambana eva jnata. Therefore, we think that Atma itself has the aham pratyaya. See, we think that aham pratyaya is there to the Sakshi, is sticking to the Sakshi, we think. Aham, because the Jnatrutvam is the Atma Dharma, we think. Because Sakshi is not a Jnata, is a Chaitanya Matram, not a Jnatru. Jnatrutvam is a relative. Okay? Jnatrutvam is related to Anatma. It is a Chaitanyam related to Anatma. But people think this Jnatrutvam alone as Sakshi. Jnatrutvam alone as a Sakshi. But Jnata is a relative. Sakshi is relationless on its own. That is Swatasiddha Advitiya. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha Kevalaha. Sakshi is Advitiya. Okay. Atayeva Atmaham Pratyayalambana eva Jnata iti Manasa Pratyaksha Gamya eveti Smrti Chadi Lingair Anumeyas cha Bhrantaha Kechit Parikshakaha api. Even the philosophers are mistaken. Swamiji says, even the philosophers, other than Advaitins, even the Parikshakaha, philosophers, even the philosophers made a mistake here. What is the mistake? Tatra aham pratyayalambana eva jnata. Aham pratyayalambana. The Chaitanya Atma is always with aham pratyaya. That means aham pratyaya is always with the Atma, Chaitanya Atma. This is the mistake. Then aham pratyaya alambana eva jnata iti. The jnatrutvam unrelated to antakarana is the same thing Sakshi. So manasa pratyaksha gamya eveti. This jnata athava aham pratyaya can be known manasa pratyaksha. Manasa pratyaksha, who says? These are Mimamsakas. Mimamsakas say that aham pratyaya jnata. Jnata is known by manasa pratyaksha. Jnata cannot be known. Jnata is the knower. Okay. Then next, Smrti Chadilingai Ranume Yaschatma iti. Atma can be known by Pratyaksha Pramana, by Anumana Pramana. This who says that? Atma is known through Pratyaksha Pramana, Mimamsakas think. That it is known through Anumana Pramana, Vaisheshikas think. Therefore, Swamiji is referring to them. Smrti Chadilingai Ranume Yascha Atma iti cha Bhrantaha Kechit Parikshakaha. Even philosophers have committed the mistake here. Tatra Smrti Chadayastavad Antakarana Dharmaha. See, Smrti, memory, desire, etc., they are the properties of Antakarana. Eva Atman Adhyastaha Yupaddarshitam. They are the properties of Antakarana. They are imposed upon the Atma falsely. This we have shown before. Idanim aham pratyayitvam api adhyastam. Now we are showing even the aham pratyayi, the whole Antakarana, aham pratyayi, the aham pratyayi itself is adhyasta iti visheshaha. Soyam aham pratyayi chidatmano ritaretara adhyasa na kvachidapi kevalaha eva anubhuyate. This is also important. See, aham pratyayi, and aham means antakarana vritti along with Chidabhasa. That aham pratyayi and atma adhyasa, this is called Brahmatrutvam. In that adhyasta sthiti is Brahmatrutvam. Jnatrutvam is that adhyasta sthiti. So aham pratyayi and atma, this adhyasa, Bare adhyasa nobody can see. You always see along with Deha, Indriya, mind. Because the bare aham pratyaya and sakshi adhyasa, bare adhyasa can never be seen. It is always associated with Indriya dharma and Mano dharma and then Deha dharma. It is always combined with it. Therefore, it becomes difficult. Soyam aham pratyayi chidatmanoh itaretara adhyaso nakvachidapi kevalaha eva anubhuyate. It alone, kevala aham pratyaya imposed upon the sakshi, it can never be seen, because aham pratyaya immediately gets imposed upon indriya, mind and deha also. Kintu upavarnita antakarana indriya dehadi dharmadhyasa sahita deva. Indriya dharma, deha dharma, antakarana dharma sahita eva adhyasa. See, aham adhyasa is common to all other adhyasas. But therefore, that bare aham adhyasa, which is a samanya adhyasa underlying all other deha, indriya, manasu adhyasa, cannot be seen separately, because it is always associated with some or other, like body, sense organ and mind. Okay, atayeva uktam asmabhihi aham sthulaha ityadi dharmadhyasa stalepi dharmadhyaso anusandheyaiti tadetat sarvam abhipretyah eham aham pratyayanam ityadi. This one page we have finished. Okay. I think this next point is there another 2 pages about the same Sakshi, Aham Pratyaya, Adhyasa. More discussion is there. Before that, I want to tell one small point and conclude today. I think this is enough for today. One thing, in our Pandita Sabha, I don't know if you have heard, probably it is there in our internet Karyalaya site, it might be there, you can see them. Adhyas, avidya was the main point. When it comes to this point which I touched before, and now I am going to tell you again. I told that I will tell later. Before I told in 2 or 3 classes before, we will discuss it. Now I discuss that. See, in these things, what is the point? Avidya topic was given to one scholar in that thing. And he says, how does he prove that is avidya adhyasa or there is something other than adhyasa? You know what he told? Adhyasas keep coming and going. Adhyasas don't remain. Like Dehadhyasa, Indriyadhyasa, Manoadhyasa, all these adhyasas keep changing. See what he says. Therefore, adhyasa cannot be called avidya. His argument. You listen to his argument completely and then we will reply. Adhyasas keep changing. Like, he gives an example. If the rope is mistaken for a snake, or it is mistaken for a garland, or it is mistaken for a water streak, or it is mistaken for kolu, a danda, a stick. So, a rope can be mistaken for more than one thing like pushpamala, garland, snake and so on. So, these adhyasas keep changing. Because when you see that a snake, while trying to observe, it may look that no, it may not be snake, it is a garland. Or the garland, while trying to watch, it may look like a stick. Or it may shift to water streak. Like this, or a crack on the earth. A crack on the earth. It can be many things. So therefore, that adhyasas keep changing. Then he is objecting, how can you say adhyasa is avidya? That Pandita was objecting. That Mula Vidya Vadi. He is a defender of Mula Vidya. And he says, how can you say adhyasa is avidya? Because adhyasa itself is changing. Therefore, you require something common to all these adhyasas. Common to all these adhyasa is, must be Mula Vidya, which is covering up the rope, and that is real avidya, he says. That scholar, that Pandita. This is in the Drishtanta. Coming to the Darshtanta, he says there is a Deha Adhyasa, Indriya Adhyasa, Mind Adhyasa. All these Adhyasas keep changing. We have discussed elaborately in the Adhyasa Bhashya, Deha Dharman, Indriya Dharman, and Mano Dharman, the properties of the body, properties of sense organs, properties of mind, we impose. But these Adhyasas keep changing. Therefore, what is the common to all these Adhyasas? If you call Adhyasa is Avidya, then Avidya goes away on its own. See his argument. Who is telling? The other Mula Vidyavadi. Adhyasas go away on their own. Therefore, without Jnanam, Adhyasas go away. Therefore, this is the argument I have been hearing. All Mula Vidyavadis give this argument. This is one place they made a big mistake. Therefore, you need what is common to all these Adhyasas? Mula Vidya. That means there is something other than Adhyasa sticking to Brahman, and that produces all these Adhyasas. Okay, this is what the Purvapakshi told. Now our reply. See, that is the biggest mistake. See, take first Drishtanta and come to the Darshtanta. He told Sarpadhyasa changes to Pushpamala Adhyasa. The snake Adhyasa, the imposition of snake changes to garland, garland changes to stick, something else. So Adhyasas are changing. Here he has not understood. See what Bhashakara told here. Adhyasa Rupa, Adhyasa Akara, not Adhyasa is not changing. That is a mistake they has made. See, when rope is mistaken for snake, it is not one Adhyasa, and garland is not another Adhyasa. See, he says, mistaking the rope for snake is one Adhyasa, he says, Purvapakshi says. And garland is another Adhyasa. That is, snake is one Adhyasa, Pushpamala is another Adhyasa, stick is another Adhyasa. He says these are many Adhyasas. They are not many Adhyasas. Now Siddhanti says they are all part of the one Adhyasa. This is the biggest mistake. They are all Adhyasa alone. When you take it as a snake, then shift to garland, then something else, they are all the forms of Adhyasa, not Adhyasa. There is one common Adhyasa underlying in all of them. Whether you take it as a snake or garland or stick or anything else, you are continuing in the same Adhyasa. Note it. This is a subtle point. Adhyasa is continuing. Then what is changing is not Adhyasa. What is changing is the form of Adhyasa. See, in Adhyasa Bhashya, Adhyasa Prakaraha Bhashakara told. See, Putra Bharyadishu Vikaleshu Sakaleshu. In these things, Adhyasa Prakaraha. Adhyasa Prakara. Prakara means form of Adhyasa. The form of appearances of Adhyasa. Adhyasa Akara, Adhyasa Prakara changes, not Adhyasa. When you mistake rope as a snake, whether it is a snake, whether it is Pushpamala, whether it is stick, whether Danda, or whether it is a water streak, all these are within one Adhyasa. Note this. They say, when snake changes to garland, Adhyasa changed. Adhyasa is not changed. Adhyasasya Akara changed. We are continuing in the same Bhranti. You don't have another Bhranti. He says, one Bhranti has gone, another Bhranti has come. There is no second Bhranti. It is not the third Bhranti. When you mistake a rope for the snake, they say it is one Bhranti. You mistake for garland is another Bhranti. There are not many Bhrantis. In one Bhranti, the form of the appearance of the Bhranti is changing. The Akara is changing. Bhranti is one. Okay. Adhyasa is one. Therefore, Shankaracharya told, Swamiji told, Adhyaso Avidya is underlying all Akaras of Adhyasa. Okay. This is important. This they missed it. So, Adhyasa is common. Now here you see, Aham Pratyaya Sakshi. Just now we have discussed. aham pratyaya and sakshi, this adhyasa is a common adhyasa underlying all antakarana adhyasa, indriya adhyasa, deha adhyasa, even bhashya prapancha adhyasa. In all these adhyasas, that underlying one antakarana, sakshi aham pratyaya adhyasa is a common adhyasa underlying to all. Therefore, that subtle adhyasa is the common adhyasa. Within that adhyasa alone, all other adhyasas are appearing. Therefore, others are not adhyasas, they are only akara. Now he says, that Pandita says in that our Pandita Sabha, since adhyasas are changing, how can you say adhyasa is avidya? Therefore, there must be common to all these adhyasas. What is common to adhyasas? Mula Vidya is common to adhyasas. He arrives at Mula Vidya through his argument like this. Through his logic alone he arrives at. No. Adhyasa is common. That is, aham pratyaya is a common adhyasa throughout. Aham pratyaya is common throughout adhyasa. In that thing, indriyadhyasa, manoadhyasa, dehadhyasa, these keep changing. See, sometimes you are very conscious of the body and bodily qualities. Sometimes you are absorbed in thought, you are not conscious of the body. But you have got a conscious of thoughts, feelings, ideas. So, you will be fluctuating between these akaras of adhyasa. That is deha property, deha dharma, indriya dharma, manodharma. Within these dharmas you will be moving, fluctuating. But common ahamadhyasa will continue. Ahamadhyasa upon sakshi. That adhyasa, sakshi aham pratyayinor adhyasaha. Sakshi and aham pratyaya adhyasa, this adhyasa is common. It continues, it is anadi adhyasa, ananta adhyasa. That's why Bhashyakara told anadi anantaha sarvaloka pratyakshaha. This adhyasa is anadi ananta. Until you gain jnanam, it is there. There is no way. Therefore, Mula Vidya is not required and your logic is unnecessary. It's a wrong logic. That's because he using the word adhyasa wrongly. Adhyasa prakara, each prakara he is taking as adhyasa. And therefore, since not only this Pandita, I myself have learnt from my earlier guru in Rishikesh and all other, they all talk of the same argument. They say there are many adhyasas. Adhyasas come and go. Adhyasas go away without jnanam. They talk like this. Now what they say? Adhyasas go without jnanam. Only Mula Vidya remains all the time. That alone goes by jnanam. Therefore, adhyasa in order to remove adhyasa, you don't need jnanam. They talk like this. You say what they talk? To remove adhyasa, you don't need jnanam. Adhyasa goes away, again comes, again goes away. Therefore, jnanam is required to remove Mula Vidya. They talk of it. We say Mula Vidya itself is non-existent. And that you are talking is outside adhyasa. If it is outside adhyasa, it won't go. Going means what? Shifting your vision from adhyastha drishti to atma drishti. When you shift your vision from adhyasa drishti to atma drishti, in atma drishti, adhyasa is automatically not there. It is only coming to discover the freedom from adhyasa, not there is nothing to remove. There is no removing. Jnanam is only shifting your standpoint, shifting your way of looking. You take the Sakshi standpoint, then there is no adhyasa, because Sakshi is ever free from adhyasa. Therefore, if it is adhyasa, it can be corrected by jnanam. Adhyasa is a standpoint. You can correct by taking to the Sakshi standpoint. Therefore, correction means, jnana means correction. Correction means shifting your standpoint. Okay? Coming to the vision of Atma and dropping the adhyasa drishti. Jnana can only shift your vision, and in the new vision, the thing doesn't exist. Adhyasa is not there, that's all. There is no real destruction, real removal. They say that it is anadhyasta Mula Vidya that will be destroyed by. So this is, in this way, Then jnana comes and destroys Mula Vidya. In these things, what is the mistake? Jnanam becomes karakam, not jnapakam. The jnanam becomes karakam, means jnanam affects something. It is not simply illumines. They say jnanam affects something, but it is not right. It's wrong, because jnanam doesn't affect any change. Jnanam only points out. What points out? That there is no adhyasa. The freedom from adhyasa is the discovery. Freedom from adhyasa you don't create. Adhyasa is not an entity, you remove it. Freedom from adhyasa is a discovery that it is already free. Atma is already free from adhyasa is what you discover. From adhyasa drishti, adhyasa is there, it won't go away. From anubhava drishti, adhyasa is not at all there. Therefore, there is another anubhava drishti where there is no adhyasa automatically. So the absence of adhyasa you come to discover. That is called adhyasa nivrutti. Removing adhyasa means intuiting the absence of adhyasa from your standpoint, from the standpoint of Sakshi. From the standpoint of Atma, adhyasa is not there. Then means what? Sakshi is free from aham pratyaya. That's what it means. Sakshi is pure without any aham pratyaya. Without being a pramatru, without being a jnatru, Sakshi is. Discovering the Sakshi as a Sakshi, free from jnatrutva pratyaya is called jnanam. That's all. See, aham pratyaya is related to idam, and therefore Sakshi is free from idam as well as aham pratyaya. It is itself. This discovery, this intuition is called jnanam. Therefore, jnanam is only discovering the freedom from adhyasa, not destroying some kind of a material called Mula Vidya. Okay? Therefore, the mistake is, they say adhyasas come and go without jnanam. They talk of like this. You note this point. Adhyasa, there are many adhyasas, one point. Adhyasas come and go without jnanam. Then what is the Mula? Underlying all adhyasas, Mula Vidya is required. That will go by jnanam. See, these are the three mistakes. In conclusion, I say, adhyasas, there are many adhyasas, one. Second is, adhyasas come and go without jnanam. This is their mistake. Third is, there is Mula Vidya outside adhyasa. Jnanam comes and destroys it, burns it. These three are the mistakes. Okay, you understood the difference. Now, what is the answer to these three mistakes? Adhyasas are not many. Adhyasa prakara. Their forms of adhyasa many. Underlying adhyasa, aham pratyaya, sakshi, anyonya adhyasa. Mutual adhyasa of aham pratyaya and sakshi is one. There are not many adhyasas. Okay. Aham pratyaya, sakshi, adhyasa is one. That is underlying all the adhyasa prakaras. Therefore, first thing is there are many adhyasas is wrong. Adhyasa prakaras are many. Okay, one. ಈಗ second answer to the second question, adhyasas come and go without jnanam. They talk of it. Adhyasas don't come and go. Adhyasa prakaras change. But adhyasa underlines in all of them. Common adhyasa, Atma and Sakshi and aham pratyaya adhyasa. This is a common adhyasa underlying all other prakaras. Prakaras change, not adhyasa. Underlying adhyasa is anadi ananta. When Shankaracharya told anadi ananta adhyasa, how can you say adhyasas come and go? Adhyasas are many, they come and go without jnanam. These 2 points never exist in adhyasa bhashya or anywhere in the bhashya. You see the point? This I told that I will discuss later. Now I am discussing it. No? You remember this I told. Particularly I pointed out, I drew your attention. Pay attention to this, we will discuss later. Now I am discussing it. I have discussed it now. I am only concluding it now. So, adhyasas are not many, 1 point. Adhyasa prakara. Like you see, when rope is mistaken, there is an adhyasa. And within the adhyasa, it may be snake, it may be garland, it may be stick. These are all the forms within adhyasa. Within the same adhyasa, rope is mistaken for something else. That something else appears as many. They say each appearance is one adhyasa. They talk like this. Each appearance is one adhyasa. Snake is one adhyasa. Garland is another adhyasa. Now, each appearance they take as one adhyasa. This is the mistake. This Bhashakara never told. He called adhyasa prakara. In some place Sutra Bhasha, he says adhyasa amsha. In Sutra Bhasha, like in that, what is that? 4th Adhyaya, Brahma Sutra, 4th Adhyaya, first Pada, first Sutra. That Linga Cha, Avritti Rasakrudupadesha, first Sutra, second Sutra. In the 4th Adhyaya, Pratham Pada, there he says, Adhyasa has got many amsha. He didn't say there are many adhyasas. Even here also, adhyasa prakara. Even adhyasa bhashya, he calls adhyasa prakara. There he says adhyasa amsha. Amsha means prakara only. He didn't say that there are many adhyasas. Okay? This you note it. Once you call many adhyasa, first thing is calling many adhyasa is wrong. Then if the second point is adhyasas come and go, adhyasas don't come and go. The same adhyasa assumes different forms. Apparent forms it changes. Snake changes to garland, garland changes to stick. But adhyasa is continuing, underlying in all these akaras, all these forms. Variety, all these forms, adhyasa is continuing. They say each one is a separate adhyasa. And next second point they say, adhyasa comes and goes without jnanam. Adhyasa comes, adhyasa goes. Therefore you don't need jnanam for adhyasa to go away. There used to be one of our gurus used to say, to remove adhyasa you don't need jnanam. He would talk like that. I was wondering, to remove adhyasa you don't need jnanam. What is this? Because this is what they mean. To remove adhyasa you don't need jnanam. Because the snake changes to garland. So adhyasa gone. Garland adhyasa has come. Therefore, for adhyasa to come and go, you don't need jnanam. The second is also wrong. First thing is adhyasa doesn't go. Adhyasa is anadi ananta. Adhyasa form, the apparent form changes. Okay? The third point. Therefore, they say, in all these many adhyasas, the flow of adhyasa, the sequence of chain of adhyasas, take Bahuvachana. In the chain of adhyasas, underlying there is Mula Vidya, which is outside adhyasa. That remains continuous. That remains continuous. That alone will go by jnanam. To remove adhyasa, you don't need jnanam. To remove Mula Vidya require. This is what they talk. Here, two things we say. That Mula Vidya, if it is outside adhyasa, it can't be removed. And they say jnanam comes and destroys it. Jnanam doesn't destroy anything. Jnanam only illumines. This is one mistake. Therefore, Mula Vidya is dismissed. Second thing is, then how do you remove adhyasa? Adhyasa, there is no removal. Adhyasa is a standpoint. Okay, adhyasa is the standpoint of adhyasa. Adhyasa itself is a standpoint. And from the standpoint, adhyasa is visible. See, from adhyasa drishti, adhyasa is visible. Adhyasa drishti is adhyasa. Then you come to the anadhyasa drishti like Sakshi. There is no adhyasa. You are already free from adhyasa, you come to discover, you come to intuit. This shifting your vision is called jnanam. Not that jnanam comes and destroys something. There is nothing to destroy. I think there are 3 mistakes and I have answered the 3 mistakes. You think over these things, then you understand how Mula Vidya is unnecessary and how in that Pandita Sabha this he discussed. And unfortunately, our people have not convincingly refuted it and explained it. This is the point. And if you want, you can listen once again our Pandita Sabha. And this is the mistake they presented. And our Shankara's Prakriya, Shankaracharya's Prakriya, and in Swamiji's Prakriya, these 3 points are wrong. If you remove them, it becomes clear. One is, there are not many adhyasas, many forms of adhyasa. Second point is, adhyasa goes away and comes on its own without jnanam. No, without jnanam, adhyasa doesn't go. Bhashakara himself told anadi anantaha. And here we are discussing Sakshi Aham Pratyaya Adhyasa is underlying all other akaras. Just now we have discussed in today's lesson. Then Adhyasa alone goes by Jnanam. Not, you don't need Mula Vidya. If there is Mula Vidya, it will not go by Jnanam. First thing is, Adhyasa alone can be corrected by Jnanam. If there is Mula Vidya outside Adhyasa, it can't go away because Jnanam doesn't destroy anything. I think I have sufficiently cleared. By repeating, I have cleared. These 3 points you remember. Okay? Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.